devil in a black cloak. Street gospel, light of the temple. Sword swing, killer live from the ghetto. The hood messenger, let them know hell's close. Black burial, the devil in a black cloak.
Yo, what is up? We want to welcome you to the Street Gospel Podcast. I'm your host, Dave One, and this is episode number 6. Yes, number 6. We've been stacking them on cam. Lately, we've been stacking them. It's the last episode we had Officer Alex talking about being a cop in the neighborhood, what it takes, why people don't want to be cops, why people don't like the cops. So it was a very good episode. We thank Officer Alex for coming out. But today we got a new guest. I'm very excited. I've probably known this guy pretty much all his life. You know, and I got to give him a little shout out. We're kind of like cousins in a way. Or we have the same cousins. I don't know how that works out. It's complicated. But he has a really great story. He's a father. He's a husband. He's a believer. He is a photographer. A very good photographer. He's a good friend. Y'all know him by another name. I know him by James. Big Game James. But the world out there, he has a good following on Instagram. Knows him by Billie the Kid. Why don't y'all give it up for my friend, Big Game James, Billie the Kid.
What up, what up?
What up, my brother?
How's it going?
Doing good, man.
Like the setup.
You like the setup, man?
Thanks for having him out.
Yeah, man. Of course. I think I thought about having you out. I think early on, I was like, man, I got to line up some people. And I've been stacking some people. And then we had Los. And Los is like, man, you got to get James on. And Billie the Kid, you got to get him on. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to get him on. Don't worry. We'll get him on. But it's always difficult because people, you know, they don't like to talk about stuff sometimes. And
it's true.
You know, and you when you come to something like this, you got to be vulnerable.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, so I tell people, I asked the guy yesterday, I said, hey, you know, I got to get you on the podcast. And he's like, I'm not ready. I said, okay, cool. I'd rather somebody tell me I'm not ready, I'll get ready, or not right now, you know, or it's not my thing, because some people it's not their thing, right? But I appreciate you coming out, man.
You know, when you hit me up, I knew you were going to call me, so I was going to say, I'm not ready. When you called me, I was like, let's do it. It's just
right.
The right timing.
It was the right time,
yeah.
Man. I think it's something that we could all, you know, look at and say, you know, okay, you know, I want to talk. I want to tell my story. And that's what the podcast things are good for right now. People want to tell their story. You know,
yeah,
they want to put it out there. Now, if your story's fake or you make up stories as you go along or something like that, then, you know, nobody wants to tell that story.
Of course
you know
not.
What I mean? Because then somebody's going to call you out and be like, that's not true.
Yeah, for sure.
So I wanted to bring you out, man. I known you your whole life, right? Our families are from the same neighborhood. At one time, your aunt was married to my uncle, so we got cousins. Cousins, right?
Yeah,
our whole Romero family of cousins are the same, and so I remember being around your family forever. And then your mom and dad, of course, I've known them for a long time too. My family grew up with them, so it's great to have you out, man.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you, so your family came to God back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Do you remember those days? Any of that time?
A little bit. I mean, I was born in church. They were saved when I was born already.
Yeah.
So I just remember being in church as a kid, growing up in church and doing what church did.
Right.
Sunday, Wednesdays, Fridays, Saturdays, Tuesdays, Deborah Warriors. I just remember being in church. That's all I knew.
That's all we knew, man.
That's all.
In those days, we were in church forever.
Yeah.
You know, it was always in church.
Oh, for sure. That's what it was.
It's crazy, though, to think about that. I remember taking you, I think, early in your teens, mid-teens, right? I think you were still a good kid at that time, right?
Depends.
We were going to play paintball a little bit. Okay. Oh, no. No, you weren't a good kid.
No, at the time, no.
You were already over the edge, right?
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I remember one time, and we used to go play paintball. Ralph, Tony, all the guys, and we used to take the younger guys, you, Who else used to roll with us?
Beto.
Right? Elski. We used to go paintballing. And I remember one time we went, and I think your dad would deliver to like a paintball company. So we used to
we had came up on he had a paintball stop.
Thousands of paintballs, right?
A pallet. I remember I had a pallet in my room. It just stacked everywhere.
I remember it wasn't the best paint, but what I used to do is you used to give me bags of paint, and I would go to the paintball park, and I'd sell it to some newbies out there, right?
Yeah.
And then we would go, we had money to eat. We'd have fun.
It was fun. I remember those days. That was a good time.
It was a good time. I remember one time, though, I don't know what happened. We were in the car. We got back because I think we used to play out in Marietta. And then we got back. I think you had something on you, and the cops were going to pull over.
So.
Right?
I think so.
And I said,
some weed.
And you were like, I'm going to stuff this in the seat. I said, no, you're not stuffing this seat.
Yeah.
You're keeping it on you. If they pull us over,
or something like that,
you're keeping it on you.
I didn't know anything.
I was like, what do you got? I don't think it was weed. I think it was a knife or something. I was like, no. Just keep it on you. We're fine. So we didn't get pulled over, though. Well, where would you say for you that it started going south? I mean, where you kind of just like started falling away from God or church, and you just kind of were like, man, this is not for me.
See, we were raised in church, so if you lived in the house, you went to church. That's what you did. So I never had a really connection with God. I was just in church. They took me to church, and this is what you do. I was just always in church. I didn't know anything else. So, but I was always in trouble. Out of church, in school, I was always fighting. I was always fighting in school.
Yeah, you were a little menace.
My mom was always in the office. I felt bad for her because they should have offered her a job because she was always there. No lie. And so I was always in trouble. So my dad always just make me sit next to him, like in service. I had to be right there by him. After service, I had to be right there.
Oh.
And so I hated it. So like eventually I was like, hey, Dad, let me sit behind you. So I'll sit behind him. And before you know it, I was sitting behind a little further, and I was just working myself out of church, basically.
Right.
And so I remember I started smoking weed, probably about the age of 12, 13. And I just started using weed, smoking weed here and there. And then before you know it, at the age of 16, 17, I got my car, and I wouldn't even go to church anymore. I was living with them still, but I would show up at altar call. Say I was there. I was at church. I was there. They were looking for me. I was there.
I was in the balcony.
I was in the balcony.
Yeah,
that's the spot. And so I knew it. I didn't want to be there. I mean, I didn't know what was out there in the street. So I started going out and partying and getting high. And before you know it, I was using meth. Someone said, "Hey, try this." So I was like, "Oh, I'll try it." Started using meth. By probably right around the time I graduated high school, I was using it occasionally on the weekends.
So wait, when people say, like, I know this answer, but usually people are all, pro weed, different stuff, and people take it for whatever reason, do it for whatever reason, right? I never did it, but if you're young and impressionable, and you start smoking weed, there's only at that young age, right?
Yeah,
there's only another. You're going to jump to another level. Pretty young.
Yeah.
You start smoking weed 12, 13 years old. Time you're like 15, 16, you're kind of looking for something else.
You're drinking. I mean.
Right.
It's a gateway drug.
Right.
Be honest.
Right.
I mean, some people say it's okay. Some people it's not. I mean, at a young age, for me, it wasn't.
Yeah, because I think most people think, hey, a little weed for the anxiety or if I can sleep or because I have cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you're a kid and you're pretty impressionable, you're smoking it to
get high.
Get high.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
what it is.
That's the bottom line.
That's what it is.
So you smoke it, then you get into meth. I mean, this is a big jump.
It's a pretty big jump.
The first time you did meth, what did it feel like, man? I mean, I watched Breaking Bad.
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
I don't remember. I have a bad memory.
Okay.
Because of it. I started using probably like sophomore year. And I think by the time I was graduating, I was selling it on my parents' house.
Dang.
Just to get high. Just little stuff,
So just flipping that.
Yeah, just to get high.
You can get high.
Just to get high. I mean, that's all.
Right.
Nothing crazy. But it got out of control.
Right.
It got out of control later on in life, and it got wild, for sure.
So when you started smoking it, selling it. Are your parents aware of that?
They knew something was going on. I remember one time I had I had got high and I took off, and I'm probably like 17 years old. I'm coming home at 3 a.m. and my light's on in my room, and I was like, what the heck's going on? So I waited for a while. Light turned off, went inside. Next day, they came in the room and said, hey, we found this bag of meth. And it was all bagged up, ready to go. I go, it's not mine. It's not mine. Like, what do you mean it's not yours? It's not mine.
It's Christie's.
Oh, man. I love that
sister.
girl. So my pops dude was up. He's like, look, check it out. Take it to whoever you got to take it to. Do what you got to do with it. But after you come back, we're going to talk. All right. So the next day, I took it to my friend, and we sat there and got high. We got high with it. I mean, that's what it was. After that, I cleaned up a little bit. I mean, I tried to get clean for a long time. You know, I tried for years to get clean after that.
How bad was the addiction?
Oh, I needed it to eat. I needed it to sleep. It was bad. It was very bad. I would smoke, and it wouldn't get me high no more, so I'd have to pick up some different type of dope just to get high, just to sleep.
Drink and whatever?
Drink, whatever, nothing. I mean, it was bad.
And so early on, what age are you at this time? When it got really bad?
18, 19.
18, 19.
Yeah.
And did you, I know you have your daughter, Savannah.
I do.
Was she born yet during this time?
She wasn't born yet. I think I had her like around 21. So it was just me. No, it was just me.
Just doing it.
Just doing it, man. And I mean, it was getting bad, and they knew I was using it already, so they tried to put me in a program. I went to a program. I would do good for like 30 days, and then I would relapse.
Yeah, I remember seeing you a couple of times,
and
you're like, I'm doing good.
And then I relapse, and then, see, I was trying it on my own the whole time. I was trying on my own. I went to a 12-step program, same thing. I went to, Big John put me in a rehab in Acton. Went out there for 3 months, came back. I did good, got a good job, and then I relapsed. And it was just the 30-day mark.
How tough is it when you go to rehab and you're are you thinking, I want to get clean? Or are you going to satisfy somebody else?
I was actually trying to get clean.
Right?
I was tired of it.
Okay.
I was trying to get clean.
So
by this time, I'm using for 5-6 years now. I was trying to get clean. Like, I was tired of living like that.
What are you doing for meth? I mean, you stealing?
Oh, steal, rob, anything that wasn't tied down, I would take. It didn't matter.
Man.
Lie, cheat, steal. Didn't matter.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
And you were still living with your parents at the time?
Yeah. I remember I got a job when I was 16, working for an alarm company, and we would go door to door selling alarm systems.
I remember that, dude.
You know,
let you say that. I remember that.
Yeah, I was doing that at 16, and I started just stealing out of the front porches, whatever we see, stereo, rims, tire, whatever we want, and
grab it. So it was all downhill.
It was.
You started going to rehab. Rehab's not working.
No, none of it was.
Or I would work temporarily.
I think because I was trying on my own. Like, I was trying to do it in my power to do this, and it just wouldn't last. There was no foundation there, no like solid roots into anything.
Do you mean like support from anybody or?
No, I had support from my family supporting me 100%.
Yeah,
all the time. Yeah, all the time.
But what are you thinking? You're thinking that when you say you didn't have no,
it was
foundation.
Check this out. Like, one time I went to a rehab in Whittier, and it was a men's home, and it was like 2 blocks away from my Connect, and I was like, "What the heck is this?" So I went, and the program was totally different. You had to pray and read and get up in the morning, and I didn't want to listen to anybody, and they were trying to tell me what to do, how to do it, and so I clashed with the guys at the home. Ended up walking home, called my dad, "Hey, can I come home?" And he's like, "What the heck?" And I was like, "Oh, I'll do good, I promise." So I ended up going home. I was like, probably like, I don't know, I want to say 17 years old, 18. No, actually, I was graduated high school, so I was like 19 now.
Wow.
And I would just get high again. I couldn't stay clean. I couldn't stay clean at all.
How powerful is meth? For everybody out there that's never done meth, I mean, how powerful is that drug? I think it was that drugs consume many lives.
It was I didn't care about anything. That was my life. That had a grip on me. That's all I thought about. That's it. I didn't care about anybody. It didn't matter who you were. I didn't care.
And what are you spending per day?
At the end of it, I was spending like probably $200 a day.
And that's
200 a day.
Selling, stealing, however you can get it. It's amazing how we think about hustling, right? And we think about how people get money, like clean money, right? To do something.
Yeah.
And you know, and you're thinking like, I always trip out on that. Like people hustle to get money, to get high and get in these hundreds a day habits. I mean, we're talking $1,400 a week. And
crazy.
And you're getting that money, hustling, whatever, begging, stealing to get that money, and that same mentality to do good. It just it doesn't transfer over.
Yeah.
When it's just the drug that's driving you, right?
Yep.
That's insane, man. That's insane. When you finally hit rock bottom, now you had your daughter, right?
I had my daughter. And I remember when I found out we were having Savannah, I got clean. I was clean for like 3. I was like, I got to change my life. I'm going to get clean. I was clean for like, I want to say, I don't know, 3 months. So I was feeling good. I was like, all right, cool. This is like the longest I've been clean before.
Yeah.
And I had my baby, and I remember that night to celebrate, I went out and got high. And I was like, couldn't do it. And it was a downward spiral. Like I just couldn't get clean, man. And I think
and you were in a relationship at that time, correct?
Yeah, I was in a relationship at the time
with her mom.
Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah, we were married.
Was
that's my ex-wife?
Pretty much going downhill.
Oh, that was downhill. We were fighting, and it was bad. It was bad, man. And we were both addicted to meth. I think I remember when my daughter was probably about 3 years old. I got fed up, and I was sick and tired of everything. And I came home one day, and I told my ex, I was like, hey, look it, I'm going to go get clean. You go get clean, and maybe we can work this out. And I'm taking my daughter with me. And she's like, okay. So I packed my daughter's stuff up, called my parents, like, hey, I want to get clean. That was April 10th, 2009. I gave my life to God that day. And I told God, hey, I want to serve you because I can't do this on my own. I can't get clean. I need you to do it for me.
How old are you right now?
36.
No, back then, I'm sorry.
I was about 25.
25.
25. That was April 10th.
And so at that point, you're getting high for?
Oh, I don't know, since I was 16. So
I'm 9 years.
Yeah.
Just living that life.
And so I got clean. Started going to church. Praise Chapel, Huntington Park, and started going every day. You know what I mean? Every day it was open. And
did you have an experience with Christ?
I did from that day forward.
Was that the first time? I asked you this.
Honestly, I think it was because I was always in church. I was just not playing the part. I was just there.
Because exactly. I
was just there.
So a lot of kids I know,
they could just be there.
Yeah, never been there. They never had a personal experience with Christ. That's what I'm starting to find out lately. You know,
we were all just in church.
I've been talking to a lot of kids that have left church, are never come back to church, and their family's there, but for some reason the kids didn't have a relationship with Christ or didn't get their own experience with Christ like the parents did. So when the kids just grow up, it's kind of like not a relationship with Christ, but a religion, right?
Yep.
It's just a thing we do.
I think we were raised a little different. So, I mean, it was our parents that all just got saved. So they were all learning this stuff as they went along.
Right.
And, there was no relationship. And I think that's when my relationship started with Christ, was on that day that I gave my life to the Lord.
You just had it.
I just had it. I knew what it was because I was raised in church.
Right.
You know, I knew the way.
So at least that was a good thing. You knew that.
I knew.
I had to give my. There was only one way.
No.
Here's a million times you've been to rehab and then
NA didn't work. Rehab, nothing worked. I'm not saying they don't work because they do work, but they didn't work for me.
Right.
You know. So, but less than 30 days clean, they raided my house, and they busted down the door. I remember that morning I had my daughter with me, and they raided the house, and I ended up going inside for a little bit.
So let's rewind. I kind of know the story on that, but everybody else don't know. what were you doing prior to, or why they raided your house? I remember you telling me the story. And we'll talk about it a little bit, but can you tell me some of the stuff you were doing?
I was robbing, stealing. I mean, for what they raided the house for, it was an armed robbery. An armed robbery I did 2 years prior, 2007.
It was 2 years?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it happened. The robbery happened in 2007.
I thought when you got busted, it was like recent.
No, it was 2 years prior to that.
Wow.
And what it was is I wasn't in the system yet. So they picked me up for a misdemeanor a few months before that. This is in 2009 now. And they swabbed me, so they made a connection at the scene. So I thought I was gone.
You thought you were scot-free.
Yeah, I
mean,
I'm cool.
I'm
already saved, I'm doing good. I got my daughter with me.
If you're going on
I'm
2
clean.
years, things are good. I'm clean. Everything's cool.
I'm good.
And they do a raid on your pad. I remember you telling me a story about how one of the ways you used to make money. And I still trip out on it. And what you told me was that you'd drive all the way up to the valley and you would go to certain stores and you would work your way down all the way from the valley. And we live in Southeast LA.
Oh, yeah.
You would work your way down all the way down back to Southeast LA.
Had a route, had a driver.
And you had a route. Can you I mean, that's a long time ago now, but can you elaborate on this little thing you used to do?
Yeah, I think I can. I would go into stores and buy video games and open the video games, put in blank disc, and return the video games and get my money back.
Now you had this little system that I used to trip out of, right?
Oh yeah.
At the time,
at
the time you told me this story.
That's how it. That's how I supported my habit. That's how it's
just
every day
robbing games.
That's it. I had a full-time job. I was working at UniFirst with my dad, and I was doing it while I was working there. And then I got fired, and so I just did that full time, and I would do that all day.
Because I remember I was like, at the time this was like huge, like Call of Duty days, right? Early on Call of Duty. And so when I asked you, I was like, how are you opening those? And you would have some little metal contraption, right? And you would heat up the plastic, take it out,
close it,
put in a blank disc.
That's it.
Take the old disc. What you used to take I
take the disc out, put in a blank disc, and then return the stuff.
Seal it, back up, take it back to the store, get money back.
Get my money back,
or not your money, somebody else's money.
Oh no, the money I bought the games with. I bought the games with my money.
Oh yeah, buy the games, switch it out,
and then sell those games online. Craigslist,
wherever.
In front of the stores.
How many on a good day? How many games?
25, 30.
So we're talking like 30 games, maybe $30 a piece.
Nah, they were 64.92 a piece.
Gee. So when you got busted,
I got busted for that.
How did you get busted?
They busted me for that. I got caught up for one of the stores. They came and raided my house for that store, and they got me for just that store though. So I was like, okay.
That was a robbery at the store?
That was a misdemeanor.
Misdemeanor at the store.
Misdemeanor, felony misdemeanor. So that's how they swabbed me. Okay. Did 90 days.
So you're thinking like, hey, no sweat.
No sweat. 90 days. They shipped me to LA County for a warrant. Did another 30 days over there. I got out on house arrest.
So you're probably thinking right now, you're clean. You got your kid. You're going to church. You're pretty much cleaned up.
Yeah, I'm cleaning up
Any
the past.
warrants?
Okay, cool.
Done.
I got out on house arrest, and less than 30 days later, I was still on house arrest. I got a phone call saying, hey, we got a problem with your monitor. We need you to come turn it in. So, okay, made a phone call. I got picked up to go turn it in, and they pulled me over. And the narcs, and they came raid at my house again. This time was for the robbery.
This is your mom and dad's place, right?
Yeah.
So, boom.
Again. So this time it was big time.
And then the robbery that you did was two years
prior. So now I'm like, God, I'm cleaning my act up. Like, I can't get a break. And so I went inside fighting this case, and they were trying to give me 12 years. And so I was like, denying it and said, I didn't do this. 9 years. You know, I didn't do it.
No, I remember those days when you got busted, and I remember talking to Ralph, Paintball Ralph, Artcore.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to Ralph, and he was giving me some legal advice to give to you. He was saying, tell James to not take the deal, because if they're offering him a deal, then they probably don't have a full case on him. And I remember talking to your dad. I would see your dad at church, and I told your dad, I said, hey, what's up with James? And this was going on for a long time, right? We're talking like months,
case
right?
For 9 months.
Right. I remember. I was going to say 10 months. I remember.
Yeah, I fought it for a long time.
And I remember telling your dad, hey, what's up with James? And we tell me, he's, oh man, they're offering him a deal. Told him just don't take it. And I remember the 12 and the 9, and I was like, yo. And then I remember telling him one day, I said, hey, tell James don't take the deal. Just, try to fight it, And he's like, man, he already took the deal. And that was for what, 7?
They gave me a deal for 7. And I don't know. I remember my mom told me, she's like, hey, I talked to Art. She's like, which is your sister's husband. He's like, he said,
attorney at law.
Yeah. Sweet Art.
Yeah.
Check him out.
Check him out.
She said, Art said, if you did it and they're offering you 7, he goes, take the deal.
Yeah.
He's like, and at the time I was like, I didn't do it. Because I was talking face to face, everybody's listening.
Right.
So I took the deal. Did 7. Went in there.
So let me ask you, when you were a good kid.
Yeah, raised in church. Pretty much.
Good kid up until you got into drugs and stuff. Yeah. But you were a kid that really didn't do no time.
No,
you didn't. You weren't. Family was from the neighborhood, a couple of neighborhoods.
Yeah,
both sides.
Yeah,
but you weren't a gang member.
No,
you're a father. You were cleaned up at that time. Now you go to, prison.
Yeah,
real prison.
Yeah,
right. And what's the shock like for a guy that, basically never did time, and going from, man, I was trying to do good, my life was cleaned up, and now you're facing 7 years.
Oh, it's kind of bitter in the beginning because
at God,
yeah. I was like, I just got saved. Like, God, like,
this is jacked up.
Come on. Stop playing. Stop playing.
Yeah, right. That's honest feeling.
No, for real.
It's honest feeling.
Because I squashed everything.
Right.
And at the time I didn't realize, like, no, I had to do it. But I'm like, come on, God. Like, everything's clean already. Like, I'm done. Like, I'm good now.
I'm forgiven.
Yeah. I got a job. Like, that's it.
My daughter.
Yeah. My daughter.
How old was you?
My daughter was 3.
3.
My daughter was 3 years old.
Wow.
My daughter was 3 when I went in. And for the first, I was in it for 9 months fighting. So when I finally took it, it's just a mindset. And it's just something you had to do.
Right.
So the first couple of years, the first year, I was like, all right, like, I'm ready to come out. All right, Lord, I'm good. Like, I learned my lesson. You could just, like, do a miracle. Like, you're released.
Yeah.
Early release.
Nah. They didn't have no COVID thing back then.
No,
right?
No COVID. Nothing like that. And so,
but let me ask you this, man. And I want to ask you this because a lot of young people listen to the show and they don't think about those consequences. It's bad enough to get hooked on drugs, but the consequence that drugs will lead you to is 7 years when realistically, how bad or how nerve-wracking when you first go and you're amongst,
it's a game changer.
Career
for
criminals.
Sure. It's a game changer, man. I was raised in church. Yeah, I grew up in South Central. You know what I mean? I was around gang members and my family. Grew up in the South. What can you say?
Right.
But when you actually getting ready to go, you're like, okay, this is real life now. Like, this is serious. I was always in and out for little misdemeanors. I got busted 3 times already for graffiti at age of 16, writing on the walls, tagging. Little county time, 2 weeks. Nothing crazy. Just tagging and this and that, vandalism. But warrants, driving suspended license. But now it's starting to sink in. I'm like, okay, what the heck? Like, all right. But I'm the type of person that if I do something, okay, I got to deal with it. And I make the best of it.
Right.
But in the beginning, it was it was reality, man. It's just something you had to do. So I can tell you this, that every 2 weeks my parents would bring my daughter to see me. Like every 2 weeks for the whole 7 years. Like they wouldn't miss. So I have a very close relationship with my daughter to this day. Just because, I mean, we got to see each other always. And they play a very big part of my life.
Right. I remember your mom and dad just always visiting
Always.
you. Always going down. They took care of Savannah a lot. I mean, they you know, raised her pretty much, you know, at the time. I mean, that was awesome to see them being raised by her in 7 years. In prison, I know I paid you a little visit.
You did. You came with Alski?
Yeah, I came one day. I show up. I see you, man. And I remember hitting you up, and I think you just had a little issue with the tooth, right?
Oh yeah.
And I asked you, I said, what happened, man? And you kind of shrugged it off, and you kind of told me what happened. What actually happened with the tooth thing? I want to say this story, but this is the reality in prison, that you kind of don't have control of the situation when you go in, right?
Things happen in there. You can't control anything in there, and when things happen, you just go with the flow. I mean, it was a fight, and there's nothing you could do about it.
You have to fight, right?
You got to fight.
I mean,
that's just what it is.
When you went in, were you saying, I'm Christian?
I went in a Christian.
Yeah, you were already saved.
I'm a Christian, but I'm Mexican. Right. So you run with the Mexicans. I have family in there. Everywhere I came across, every place I landed, somebody knew my cousin or my uncle, and their family. They know who you are.
Right.
But I'm a Christian, but you're Mexican.
So the reality is, if you're Christian, you kind of have to you got to toe the line on both sides, right?
You do,
because you're Mexican. There is a politics in there that you have to abide by.
Yeah, for sure.
And then if you're Christian, you can't ride both sides of the fence. You got to be a straight arrow if you're going to be a Christian.
Yep.
I mean, that's a pretty hairy situation when you think, hey, you're a Christian, cool. You better be straightforward with that. If we see you playing any games, it's an issue. But if it pops off, then you got to be on the team, pretty much, right?
That's how it goes. That's just what it is, man. And I learned very quick. What it was, and I mean, it became normal. It became normal getting up and doing the things you got to do, and reading and watching TV and your programs and your books, and it just became normal in there.
How important when you're busted like that is to get a program going.
I mean,
you hear that a lot.
Yeah,
that guys have been in there. They say, hey, I just got to work this program. Yeah. You have to kind of have a schedule, right? As you kind of go out of your mind a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, once you get a schedule, you're good. I think when time slows down, when my daughter used to come see me, because you go out there, hang out with a couple hours, and then I seen her grow behind glass. She was 3 years old. I seen her behind the fence, behind the table, behind the glass, behind this place, and playing on the yard. Okay, time's over. Right. She would cry every time she left. I mean, for years, even when she got older. I just seen her grow up behind the bars. That's what it was. And when I would go back to the dorms, that's when reality hit again, because now I got to be back here again.
Are you counting the days? Or are you just letting them slide by?
No.
You'll drive yourself crazy?
No, I couldn't count them.
Would you ever look at the days and be like, okay, that's 3 years? Or are you just let them keep rolling out one after the other?
I think you count the years.
The years?
The years, and when you get closer, you count your visits. How many more visits I got this year? You live by your visits, and people come and visit you. I could probably count the people on my hands that came and visited me over the years, and my families were my biggest supporter, my mom and dad. I have a few friends that came up there, and it was cool. It was good to see them, hang out. But yeah, you don't count the days.
Did you ever feel like the people forgot about you? Or do you just think like they're living their lives? That's just the way it goes.
Yeah, that's just what it is. I mean, I did the crime. You know what I mean? So I do the time. I can't expect everybody to stop what they're doing to come see me. You know.
Yeah.
I know how it is when I've been out for going on 5 years now, and I would like to go back to visit. You know what I mean? But I'm just busy, and it's not that I don't think about a couple of people I know that are still in there. It's just
Life.
It's and even just to sit down and write a letter, you know, I haven't even done that.
Because I made a post, you know, the other day, and I just a little Instagram thing and on my story, and I said, you know, people make time for people they care about.
Yeah.
But in reality, we're all busy somehow. We're all caught up in our own lives, and it doesn't necessarily mean that people don't care, but you know, it is a reality. And I think talking to a few friends that have gotten busted, they realize like everybody has to moves on, and it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm left behind. It just means that they're busy. They got their life, and my life.
I got family.
Your life's pretty much stagnant, right?
Yeah.
It's just staying in one.
It would be
one
selfish
place.
if I would say, "Oh, you guys didn't come." Nah, I can't be that way.
Yeah,
You got jobs and kids and
their own problems.
yeah,
Right.
you know, life hasn't stopped. Stopped for me.
Yeah.
You know, and
Did you do anything in there? Or did you? I know a lot of people like to go to school or start reading or pick up some sort of hobby.
I started reading a lot. I started reading everything I get my hands on. The Bible, books, this, that, everything I could read, I read. And that passed the time a lot. I read, worked out, you know, I started getting a little routine.
What was your routine consist of? Let's see, wake up.
Wake up, coffee. That's probably my last 4 years. We wake up, coffee, get ready. I would go to work. I started working for the fire camp. I was a firefighter for my last maybe 3 years. So
That's right, I remember that.
so I would fight fires. So I'd go outside the prison and work in the camp and create decals for the police cruisers and wrap vehicles. And I learned graphic design in there, how to wrap a truck, wrap a car, fight fires, come back. So time was fast.
That
Time was going quick because you'll go out and you'll come back 2 weeks later, and 2 weeks is gone. Now you're back inside the prison,
Right.
you know. So sometimes you go out a month and you come back a month later. So your time flies in there. I mean, once you get in the routine, and I mean, I can't say. I mean, I was having fun at the end. I was having fun because I knew I was coming out.
Do you think sometimes maybe you just needed some structure in your life, something that was some motivation to say, hey, you know, I got this program, I'm working this program, I'm getting some structure, some discipline in my life.
I definitely got some structure, and I learned a lot of things in there that I wouldn't have learned on the streets very fast.
So your time wasn't wasted.
No, very fast. It's something I could tell you I needed it. If I could do it again, I would have to do it again, because the way I was and when I came out, totally two different people. I had no structure. Even though I see my dad going to work every day and the hard worker, it just wasn't in me. I didn't want to do that. I had no respect for authority. I didn't like anybody telling me what to do. I didn't care who you were. I didn't care. I didn't care. And I wanted to do what I wanted when I wanted. That was my problem. I wanted to do what I wanted when I wanted.
Isn't it funny? You know, you hear a lot of young people, and they don't want anybody to tell them what to do.
Same thing.
But in reality, somebody's always going to tell you what to do.
Always.
Right? I mean, it sounds bad. It sounds.
Yeah.
But in reality,
it's true.
I'm paying taxes, right? In reality, unless I have my own business, even if I do have my own business, if I don't have my own business, I have a boss. If I do have my own business, there's still rules, regulations, permits, whatever you think. I gotta comply.
Everybody, they're always going to tell you something.
Somebody's always going to tell you something, right? I mean, somebody's going to. I mean, and
so when I went in, I learned real quick. Respect. They're going to tell you what to do, when to eat, when to sleep, when to watch TV.
You had no choice. This is the way it is.
So it was a structure that I learned, a routine. I got into habit, and it built a foundation, and it was very helpful.
Because I know a lot of young dudes, man, and I think that's the problem right now with young guys. You know, they don't have a voice in their life, or maybe that voice is not, you had your dad, but maybe that voice is not penetrating, you know, and it's not getting to them. And then eventually they realize, like, hey man, somebody's going to be the boss of me one day.
One way or another, you know. And I used to like to find out the hard way. It's just the way I was. It's
right.
Like, my dad was, don't throw a rock at the window, it's going to break. Oh, it's not going to break, I'll throw a rock. It's just the way my personality. Sometimes I still get in the habit of doing that,
right?
But it's a different way now.
Because you realize you can't realize the consequences.
Yeah,
now.
someone's like, you can't do that. It's like, yeah, I can do this.
Right.
You know, but it's a different outcome now. You know, like, oh, you can't sell that. Oh, I can sell this. You know?
Yeah.
And it's just different now.
Right.
And I'm telling you, I learned a lot in there real quick.
That's why I think
quick.
The where you take a negative, right? You know, you take your hard-headedness or your outspokenness and you turn it into something positive. You know, like we talked about the hustling. You were so down to hustle all the way from San Fernando Valley all the way down here, and you had that little routine going. But that if you take that same mindset and you apply it to something positive.
Oh, that's what I'm doing now.
That's what you're doing now.
That's what I'm doing now.
So you get out. Let's before we get to that part.
Okay.
You get out.
I get out.
When do you start seeing some light at the end of the tunnel and you're like, oh man?
As in when I'm coming out?
Yeah. Like you're sitting in your cell and you're like, you're counting on the days.
When you're on the same year. So okay, January hit, I get out in August. Okay.
What year is this?
This is 2015.
2015.
So when January hits, you're like, wow, okay. You know, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months.
So we're talking. How old are you right now? I mean, how old are you then? 2015. So
I want to
5 years ago. So most of your 20s, you spent.
Oh yeah,
in there.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a good little chunk. So you see some light at the end of the tunnel.
See some light, and you start thinking, like, man, what I'm gonna do for a job, for work. You're hearing, oh, it's hard to find a job. I'm gonna be on parole. You don't want to go back to keep pumping. Oh, you're a statistic. You're gonna come back. We'll see you later. Like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. You know, and it really helps to have people backing you up.
Right.
And I had my parents backing me up. And I knew that, you know, and I was like, okay. And I knew a lot of people, so I wouldn't have trouble finding a job.
Right.
And I didn't. So as I got out and
I remember going to your,
we had a little party in my house.
Party.
You know what I mean?
It was nice.
It was cool.
Yeah.
Everything's all brand new to me. I didn't know what the heck I was walking into.
Right.
I remember, a homeboy Lowe's servants. Hey fool, you have Instagram? I was like, no.
What's that?
What is that? He's like, you need to get it. All right. Instagram, cool. What is this? He's like, it's like Facebook, but you take pictures. I was like, cool. I remember the first time I got a Facebook was inside prison.
Right.
I got a Facebook from in there.
That's crazy.
First time ever.
I remember you going to a men's meeting. I remember. Hopefully you remember this, and we won't say his name, but there was a CO that I know.
Oh yeah.
And
he's a good dude.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
I like
dude,
that
right?
guy. I see him all the time.
So we go to the men's meeting, and I know you know this CO because he was in the same prison as you. He knew you inside. You knew him, and so I remember I was like, "Hey, so and so." I won't say his name. Come over here. So we start busting up, right? I mean, I thought it was hilarious because I'm like, how in the heck, small world. Here we are back in Huntington Park. He's from somewhere in the IE, and then we're over there and at this men's meeting and he, from church, sees you. And I remember I told him, hey, let's take a picture. And he's like, nah, I'm good, man.
Yeah.
Put it on the ground.
Still on parole, so.
Yeah, he's still on parole,
I mean?
so it wouldn't have looked good. But I thought that was hilarious, man. But it's a small world.
It is.
It's a small world.
You never know who's in there. You know what I mean? The cops, they're doing their job too.
Right.
But, yeah, definitely.
So you get out looking for a gig, and you find a gig.
I found a gig. The first job I found was my homeboy Ralphie. I heard he was running a trucking company. I was like, hey, I need a job. So I started driving a bobtail for him. And that was like my first job out. Cool. Working for him. And
how are you feeling? Are you feeling like I'm free? Are you having any temptation to go back to your old life?
No, not at all.
You're just done.
No, it's done. It's been done. At this time, I was already 8 years clean now, 7 years clean, probably about 7 now. No, just working, man. I just got into work mode, and I just drove a truck for a little bit, and I knew I was like, can't do this. I need something else. So I started looking, and I applied for the post office. And I was like, I'm not gonna get this job. I'm on parole. I'm a felony. I have a felon, and I'm on parole. But I was like, I'll apply anyways. So I applied, and they hired me.
I remember you got hired, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, what the heck, bro?
That's what I was like, what the heck? I was the same way.
And so I was like, so I remember you came down to my pad, and we were having a little get together, and then you seen, Paintball Ralph. He's here. You're chopping it up. You leave, and Ralph's like, no, man, I don't know how he got a job at the post office. That's like impossible. I was like, man, it must be God, bro. I don't know. So we're cracking up about it.
I was delivering mail for a year in Whittier.
I remember you, and you're right in the, in a familiar place delivering mail.
Yeah.
And I remember
Crazy.
one day I seen an Instagram post, and then you were digging a trench for somebody, and I said, what happened?
So the post office, turns out it wasn't for me. Just wasn't for me.
That's a good way to put it.
I couldn't deal with the heat and the rain, and I remember one time it rained so bad I was soaked down in my boxers. I just couldn't do it. I was like,
Wasn't your thing?
No.
So
I gotta hand it. They work hard, bro.
So did you quit, or did they find out that you were a felon?
No. They suspended me to further notice for some things that happened, and it just kind of like the further notice never came. The notice never came to come back. So they put it out there. I put it out there. I was looking for a job, and I got a job with my homeboy Champ, and he runs. He's a foreman for an electrical company.
Right.
Hit him up, and he's like, "Yeah, come down." He hired me on the spot, man. Like, quick.
That's dope.
It's cool, man. It's cool. I learned a little bit of electricity, and I realized that wasn't for me.
I mean, so when people say, "I'm going to get out," you do need a support system.
Yeah, you do.
Right. I mean,
sure.
that's huge, right?
That's a very big thing.
You got to be self-motivated, self-disciplined, right? There you don't go back to that life. If you didn't have that support system, would it have been easy to slip back into that? Honestly, I mean, I don't know, yes or no, but
honestly, I don't know. I know once I made the decision to change my life, that was it. Like, there was no more desire. Like, I just wanted to do good. That's all I wanted. I wanted nothing else, no more.
Right.
I came out and I was trying to make up for time that I lost. Like, I lost a lot of time, so I was spending it with my daughter, going places I haven't gone, eating stuff I haven't ate. There was really no time to think about anything else other than that. And just work, family, church, work, family. Just, that's it.
Because like the CO said, man, statistically bound to go back. But I know a few people, they were motivated. They didn't want to go back. They changed their life. It is possible, right?
No, it's very possible. If you want it, it's reachable. If you don't care, I mean, you got to care.
That's what I say. I think that's important because I think a lot of people get busted. They do the time and they think, well, that's it for me. I'm a convicted felon. Obviously,
it's not.
There is going to be some things you can't do, and you probably have to pay the price.
For the first couple of years, you're kind of on a leash. You're parole, and they give you a hard time. But I mean, if you're done with it, you're done. You're going to do whatever it takes to get off parole, and you're going to do whatever it takes to get a job. And
so it is possible, though.
Very possible.
It is possible, though.
It's possible, man.
I was telling somebody the other day, this guy works for us, and I think he was down like 10 years. And he got out, says the same thing, man. He said, I just didn't want to go back. I didn't want to live that life. Yeah, I knew that I wasn't going to get that CEO job.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get that. He's not going to get that CEO job. He's not going to get that job he wished he, fireman, policeman when he was a little kid.
Yeah.
He goes, but there is a job and there's places I can make some money.
Heck yeah.
And I want to go into that because you've been clean. You've been out 5 years and now you remarried.
I remarried.
You're married to this famous photographer, man. She's everywhere.
Yeah, she's bad. She's cool.
So
yeah, she's better than me.
How did you get into photography, man?
Honestly, I didn't choose photography. Like, that just chose me. Like,
What do you mean by that?
well, some people pick up a camera. Oh, I want to do this. This is what I want to do. I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to do this. Like, basically, I got out and I started taking pictures for servants. Like, when I was inside, he's like, hey, I started a clothing brand. I was like, that's dope. He's like, I remember you used to write, like, I want you to do some letters for my brand. I was like, okay, cool. This was like in 2010. So when I got out 2015, I'm no longer writing. So he put a t-shirt on me, took a picture of me. I was like, oh, that's cool. He put it on Instagram. I was like, oh, that's cool, Instagram. Okay. So he was using me as a model. And I remember a couple of shows, I might have taken some pictures for him on the phone, and I gave it to him, and he shared them. And I was like, oh, that's cool. People like it. Okay. Like, that's cool. Like, that's all I thought about it, taking some pictures for him and giving it to him. Okay. Eventually, like, I seen that there's possibly some money in this little photography game. And I was like thinking about it. I was like, but before I even had a chance to think about that, somebody hit me up. And I was like, hey, before this, let me back up a little bit. I started an Instagram page, Billie the Kid. I didn't tell anybody. I just started it low key. Didn't even tell servants. I didn't tell anybody. Just started it, posting pictures while I was working as an electrician. And people started following it. Started catching real followers. And, okay, cool. Told the homie, hey, this is my page. He's like, all right, cool. Let's start something. So we just started networking back and forth. And I picked up a job. Somebody hit my DM and was like, hey, I want to hire you to shoot this softball team. I was like, oh, what the heck? All right.
And what camera do you have right at that time?
My cell phone.
Just a cell phone.
Just my cell phone.
Okay.
That's it. I was like, what the heck?
So the power of the gram.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's like, I was like, I can make some money then. I was like, he goes like, how much? I'm like, give me $50. He's like, all right, cool. I was like, oh, heck yeah. So I went out and I bought a camera. I bought a Nikon and I YouTubed it. YouTubed how to do it. And I think a week before the photo shoot, I canceled because I got nervous because I've never done that. I'm like, what the heck? I mean, I've been around cameras all my life. My dad was a photographer growing up. He had cameras around the house. And I mean, the garage is probably thousands of photos from church and from this and from that. I mean, from a bunch of different things.
Right.
So I've known a camera. I've been around it. I messed with it. But
isn't it amazing? So you go in and, YouTube and getting all this information is not a big thing.
You can learn anything on YouTube.
Not a big thing when you went in.
No.
Now you get out.
Like, what the heck?
And you can
build a car from YouTube. You could anything you want.
I know guys are like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm calling the repair guy. For what? Why don't you just YouTube it and buy the part and put it on? I mean, this is for refrigerators, for everything.
Anything.
Right?
Anything.
The information's right. I mean, this is the computer in your hand.
Yep. So I canceled that guy because I got nervous. And I still started just taking pictures for servants. And I remember me and Alski did a job. He's like, hey, you want to make some money? I was like, heck yeah. So we went down to Muse Inc. And we built some walls for this company. And one of the guys that had hired us, he's like, hey, what do you do? I was like, oh, I'm a photographer. And he's like, give me your Instagram. All right, so he gave me Instagram. And he's like, oh, that's cool stuff. Like, cool. It turned out to be it's my homeboy now, Dakota. He's a good dude. I didn't know what part he played in my life at that moment. But maybe about a month later, he hit me up. He's like, hey, I like your photos, and I want you to shoot my wedding.
Wow.
And I was like, what? I never done that. He's like, I don't care. I want you to shoot my wedding. I was like, I don't know what to do. He's like, be in the right place at the right time, take the right picture. That's it. He goes, it's the same thing you're doing now. And I was like, dang. He's like, I'll give you $500. And I was like, okay. So I went out. Sure, why not? I went out and bought a Canon, and I bought a new lens, and I changed up the game, and I sat there and I learned that camera for about a month, and I went and shot his wedding. And so, like I said, I didn't choose photography. It just kind of chose me, and I just started running with it.
That's pretty crazy because, especially on social media, people build themselves up into something, right? But what I'm saying with you, it was just organically. It kind of just fell in your lap. Okay, I got an eye for this. I'll start shooting on my iPhone, which does wonders. I'll look up how to shoot on my iPhone.
Google Pixel.
All that. Oh, okay, my bad.
I can't use an iPhone for nothing.
But, I mean, whatever works. But you learn how to do that.
Yeah.
And it falls in your lap. So here we got people that or I want to be a photographer. I'm going to start a photography page. And you're just like, I started taking pictures and I don't know, just kind of.
It just happened.
It just happened.
That's why I like to trip out. Like photography is the biggest competition out there right now. Everybody's in a competition with the next photographer.
Right.
It's
What's
cutthroat.
What separates? Because you've been doing it now. How long?
Going on 3 years.
3 years. What separates? I think I know the answer to this since my daughter takes pictures. But what separates a good photographer, a good eye, from a good photographer? And what I mean by that is anybody nowadays with a decent, Sony A whatever, can take a dope picture, right? It's clear, it's sharp, it's nice, it's perfect. But there's something about having an eye. What is the difference between a good picture and having an eye?
Anybody could take a good picture. But I think if you haven't gone through the things you've gone through and haven't seen the things that, some people seen, you won't see what we see.
Perspective.
It's
the perspective of what you're taking, right?
Yeah.
The subject.
Yeah.
Because
I'm not the best out there, but I know what I'm doing now.
You have
kind of. I'm still learning. I learn every day.
I trip out on I don't want to brag. I got 2 artsy kids, right?
Oh, they're dope.
Cam does video.
Dope.
Cash does photography.
Super dope.
And what I look at what they do is they have a vision.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you do. You have a vision. Our artists have a vision of what they have. I don't think I consider myself an artist, but I have a vision of my podcast. I think a lot of people wanted me to be this cookie cutter podcast or thought I was going to be like this. And now I have all these variety of guests and they're just like, yeah, this is not, I thought you were going to do something else. No, this is my vision.
And that's cool because it's yours.
Right. So I think with the kids, like same thing, like Cam will have his vision. Like, no, this is what I'm thinking. And Ash does the same thing. Do you have that? Like where you're like, you go to shoot and somebody tells you, hey, what about like this? And you're just
I don't work well with others.
You're just like, I got this going. Let me set you up and I'm going to take this shot.
I don't work well with people, with other photographers, and I don't work well with them.
It's an art thing.
It's I work well with my wife.
Creative thing.
Yeah, I work well with my wife. Shout out to 3LA.
Yes.
Yeah, she's dope.
Yes.
I couldn't do what I do without her because she lets me just run amok and do what I want.
Right.
I say, hey, I got to go here. Let's roll. Hey, there's a car show right now. Okay, let's go.
Yep.
Anything. She's down.
That's dope.
It's just how it goes.
But you have a vision.
Have a vision. Sometimes I don't know what that is until I get there. It's just
unplanned. Just you have an eye.
Yeah. I mean,
because I could come up with
sometimes
with. I mean, I would assume sometimes it's a job, right? And you got to just shoot, and you're just like, you might not be feeling it, but you got to do what you got to do. And I think sometimes
I try to add in my vision and my eye into everything I do. I try to put 110% in everything, whether it's a job or I'm just having fun. I had to give it everything,
right?
And I think that's what it is. I mean, since I've been on, I'm nonstop. Like I don't sleep. I work for the union now, so I have a full-time job. I have my daughter with me full-time.
How old is she now?
She's 14.
Oh man,
that's my baby.
Oh man, look out!
That's my
14
baby.
14.
Yep.
You getting ready for the knock on the door, bro?
Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet.
Wait. Is she on the gram?
Nope.
Okay. Good.
No gram.
No gram for her yet.
Not yet.
All right. She's gonna be asking pretty soon.
We're good right now.
So what is Billie the kid gonna say when Savannah wants to get on the gram?
We haven't got to that point yet. So
at least you'll have good pictures.
Yeah, for sure.
Have you edit your pictures?
I'll tell you this much:
from the neck up.
I will have access to her account. That's for sure. So
let me give you some advice, bro. Yes, you can have access up to a certain age.
Well,
you know what I mean? Of course. I mean, and then
if you're underage,
you have to release it. But underage, yes, you want to have 14? Access. You want to be in control.
Oh yeah,
I'm paying the bill. I'm in control.
Yep, for sure. But once we get to that age, I think we'll both feel it. Okay, it's time. But at 14, no.
So how did you meet your new wife? I met her. We had a good time at my sister Nisi's wedding.
Yeah, she's cool.
Dancing, having a good time. That's the first time I met her. I've seen her photography. She's everywhere. I mean, she's bigger than you.
Yeah.
But how did you meet?
I think I want to say we met at a car show. Are you taking
pictures?
I am. Okay. I'm taking pictures of the time. The first time I seen her was in San Diego at Chicano Park Day, and I was like, "Oh, who's that?" Los was like, "Oh, she's a photographer." I was like, "Oh, it's dope." Then we ran into her again at a car show, and I remember asking her to take her picture, so I took her picture, and we just started hanging out, and just becoming friends. And about a year later, we started dating. So, yeah.
And now you got married.
Yeah.
So now you got it. Now, how does that work? That dynamic in the house? You take pictures. She looks at your pictures. Does she ever go,
We both have different. We both have different eyes.
You got to just
we both have different visions. I mean, sometimes she sees something I don't, and sometimes I see something she doesn't, and we pick up the slack on each other.
But you both work good together.
Yeah.
Do you guys do
for the most part?
Okay.
For the most part, you know what I mean. Sometimes in business, I get into business mode when it's time for business. Like I'm like, and she's like more like just kick it. Like, what's your problem? Like, okay, I have to tone it down a little bit. You know what I mean?
A good balance.
Yeah, good balance. But she's a good balance, and
right.
I'm like, okay, cool. You know, and so it works well. It meshes real well.
Good.
Like that's for sure.
So you work well with her when you guys go on a job.
Oh yeah.
Do you guys work a lot together, or
we do? I take her on everything I do. I think I probably get more jobs just because of the language barrier with her, but I'm trying to push her to.
She's
Japanese.
Japanese. Okay.
So like most of her DMs that come in, I'm reading them for her and helping her out, and it works.
So how does that work with you? And when you guys first started dating, the language barrier there.
I understand her. She talks.
It's just broken English.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just broken English, but she understands. She talks really well, you know. But when you're talking fast to her, she's like, "Huh?
Slow down."
Yeah. But now we work well together, man. She's dope. She's a good photographer. Better than me. She's been shooting a lot longer than me.
What do you use?
I have a Canon.
What does she use?
She uses Canon.
Oh, so you're both Canon. So that's
so
pretty good.
We get to share lenses, so that's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Why don't you buy this one?
Yeah.
And I'll buy the next one.
Yeah.
Right? That's good.
So it works out, man. It works out. But yeah, I try to schedule my jobs for her to be there as well.
Right.
Because there might be something she wants to shoot or the weddings and stuff like that. And so she helps out and she does a lot. She's dope.
Dope. So what separates Billy the Kid from other photographers? If I'm looking to hire you and I send you a DM, what is the selling point with Billy the Kid for me?
Honestly, like if you're in my DM already, I don't gotta sell anything. It's already sold. You're hitting me up already. You're already hitting me up. So it's I don't gotta sell anything. I just tell you my rates and that's what it is.
Boom.
And it's okay if they can't if they can't pay those rates, it's okay. Like I got a full-time job. Like I'm not trying to I'll do it for $20.
Nah.
No.
Here's the rate.
No, I work for the union. I'm
right.
okay. I don't need to do this. I'm having fun and it's going well. But yeah, I'm not the best out there. I'm not trying to be cocky, but I mean if you're like I said, if you're in my DMs and you want to shoot with me already,
shoot.
People pay for the eye. And that's what I'm learning. You know.
The style of your, they already know what they're getting.
Yeah.
Look at the Instagram. This is what we got.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, which is cool. There's no salesman here or nothing like that. I'm not trying to sell. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'll give you it for $9.99.
No.
I'm not in a silent competition with these photographers. I mean, there's a lot of dope people out there. I follow a lot of photographers because I'm inspired by them and they're dope and they shoot and like oh, that's bad.
Who do you look up to out there? Besides your wife.
Man, there's a guy out there named Brad Merman. He's bad. He's a bad. The homie Estevan, he's a legend. Yeah. The OG.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done everything. So everybody's over here trying to do he's done it already.
Right.
You know, there's nothing new under the sun.
Right.
It's just a different spin on everything.
The crazy thing about him is I think all his stuff was film.
Yeah.
I mean,
what I tripped out on when I first got into the game and I found out about Estevan. I started following him and started looking at his stuff and the music I listened to growing up, those album covers that I had in my closet, he shot them. I was like,
crazy,
what the heck? Like
crazy.
that blew my mind right there. Like this guy's bad.
Right. I mean, that's the thing about LA. I mean, if you look at some of the photographers here, Mike Miller, Estevan, John Lake, Jim McHugh, those guys. I mean, it's pretty the foundation's pretty set, and
Yeah.
and the criteria is set pretty high.
They created the lane. We're just cruising in it.
Right.
That's what it is.
It's so cool though, because I think with people with social media, especially for photography, it leaves a lot of lanes.
Oh yeah.
It leaves more lanes open. In the old days, you would have to carry around a portfolio and try to sell yourself, right?
Yeah.
Now you got the gram or whatever, and it kind of sells it for you, right? Yep. I mean, how big is that?
Very big. It's a tool. It's a tool to make money, and it's there at your finger. It's easy, and we're just having fun.
And what job did you get, and you were just like, I can't believe this. This dude's hitting me up to shoot this job. Has there ever been a job that you got and you were just like, whoa, I'm a little nervous about this one?
I don't know about a job, but I would say like connections I made. I remember when Bobby Tribal hit me up and was like, hey, I like your stuff, man. Like, your stuff's dope. I want to work with you. And he became a friend of mine.
So the godfather of pretty much streetwear.
Yeah, the stuff I used to wear when I was a kid. You know what I mean? Like, what the heck? Like, that was a trip when I was like, okay, cool.
Is that like at a point where you say, oh, okay, I'm kind of coming up now.
I'm making a little splash.
Right.
I think we're making a splash right now. We're on this wave. And I don't know. It's just we're riding the wave right now. Me and Los. I take his pictures for servants, and it's just we balance each other out, and it's just a wave right now we're going on, and I don't know. I just don't know how to stop.
What is a goal that you have? I mean, is it to be full time?
I thought about that. I play with that idea sometimes, but my benefits are so good at my job.
The security of a union job.
It's good. It's good. If I could keep both, I would do both. I know eventually one will have to give, but for the next 5 years, I don't see anything changing. It's just, I don't pay for anything when I go to the doctors.
Keep grinding.
I hurt myself now because I'm old. So the other day I fell off the skateboard. I was skating with my daughter, and I was trying to race. I'm not a skateboarder, but I have a longboard.
Yeah.
Just cruising down the neighborhood, and we're coming to the house like, oh, let's race. All right, she's on a bike, so I'm on a longboard. I'm going fast.
Right.
I'm beating her, of course, because I'm faster than her. We all are. We're all faster than our parents. I mean, we're all faster than our kids.
I beat them
all the time. I see you racing them all the time.
Let me tell you this, bro.
I see you winning all the time.
I raced him, right? He wanted to race me, thought he could beat me. So I was like, okay. So old man status gets out on the street, and let's race. I'm not going to lie, bro. I won. He won't admit it. I won, but I was dead for like 3 days.
Oh, I believe it.
My hammy was hurting.
But you won, though.
I won.
That's all that win.
That's all that matters, right?
W's about
I sacrificed the hammy for Cammy.
Heck yeah.
You know what I mean?
So that's what I did. I was going foul. I was like, I'm taking this right here. I can't let her win on a bike. And a dog came out. I looked, and I tripped and fell, and I busted my face open, my knee, my lip. I was jacked up, bro. And I was like, man, but good thing for those benefits because I didn't pay a dime.
You got to go to the doctor.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. If you're a full-time photographer, man, I don't know, bro.
Hey.
You don't get those same benefits.
I don't know.
You ain't rolling up to Kaiser,
It might come to that pretty soon, but I mean, we'll see where this takes us, But it's fun. We're having a good time, man. It's just
such a great story, man. I think the biggest thing for me why I had you in is because I wanted you to motivate somebody out there that no matter what their past was, they can still achieve something in this life. And if you look back sitting in that cell and one of those hard nights and to think about what you have now, I mean, it's kind of like a dream, right?
Yeah.
A wife, your teenage daughter, she's still got a whole life ahead of her with you.
Yep.
Making up all that lost time. Some goals set and a career that you love, 2 careers, photography and your union job. But I mean, at any point in time when you were sitting in that cell, did you think like, man?
Heck no. Not that it would be like this. I knew I was going to do something.
Right.
I knew I had to do something. You know, it's just not in me. I'm always into something. I just knew it was going to be different this time because I was clean and I was going to do something greater than before. I just didn't know what it was. I had no clue. If you would have said, oh, you'd be taking pictures for what? I didn't even know what Instagram was. I think I had an Instagram for 2 years, 2.5 years now. I don't know. That's all I had it for. I didn't know what it was.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it doesn't matter about your past and what you've gone through and where you grew up at it. If you want to do something, you can do it. You know, you just can't. I learned a lot. I learned something inside that I don't think I would have learned out there. I don't stress over the things I can't control. Because in there, I couldn't control a lot of things. I couldn't control anything, bro.
That's good.
And so I brought that outside because if I can't control the situation, I'm not going to stress about it. Because nothing I could do. Nothing I can do.
That's an excellent outlook, man.
You know,
I'll admit this. I get that problem sometimes. And I'm stressed. What am I going to do? You know, you kind of snap out of it and go, what am I going to do? But to have that outlook on life, you know, and be like, hey, man, I've been in a worse situation. I definitely didn't have control over there when somebody's telling me to do when to wake up, when to do this, when to do that.
Worrying about your daughter, you can't change nothing. Where's this person? You can't.
It kind of forces you to have patience, right?
I learned patience in there for sure. I never had patience. I mean, we live in a society that you don't have patience. Turn on the TV, you want it on, microwave, everything. You know what I mean? It's just what it is. And I learned patience, kind of. I mean, I'm backtracking a little bit, but I just gotta remember it. You know what I mean? I gotta think about it again every now and again.
So where is Billy the kid at now with Christ going forward? What are some of the goals that you set, man?
Because of the whole COVID, the church is closed down, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of slacked off my reading and watch it. It's a lot harder to watch it on TV than going to church. You know what I mean? Like
something about that experience.
I'm just telling you the truth. Like I can't say I hit every service. I'll be lying.
Right.
But definitely, I think I was seeing it, and my daughter was feeling it more than me. I'm not saying I didn't need it, but we could all use it, man. I need it. But her friendship with her friends, because there's no school, she was online. She wasn't going anywhere. The church was closed, so there's no youth. So how important is do you realize to keep your daughter in church? Oh, it's very important. I realized the other day, I'm like her only friend right now. Like, she's with me all day. Like, when I go home, she's on. I was like, I'm like her only friend. So I was like, okay, I got to do something. So last week I made a decision to check out another church that was closer to me, that has a big youth. Nothing wrong with the church I was going to. They have a good youth and nothing wrong. Love my pastor.
Hey, bro, I think this is crazy. Everything you went through, everything you've seen in church, and here you are talking, you're making a change to go to another church, basically based on your daughter being able to that's it, to get the word and to have some of the Lord in her life.
That's it. That's the only reason why. I want her around the same age group, around the same girls. She needs connection. She needs to be involved. Like, she was involved there, but there was nobody her age. Right. And I know the importance of being around people your age at this 14 years old.
Critical age.
Critical.
Yeah.
So last week I went to go check out another church in Orange County. Dope. And she loved it. My cousin's there already. I was like, dope.
There you go.
You know what I mean? And I didn't know that.
I like that church. I'll just put it out there.
You know what it is?
Yeah.
And she liked it. I'm like, cool. Right on. Let's do this. So we'll be there tomorrow.
Awesome.
Just letting you know.
We'll be there tomorrow.
Be there tomorrow.
But I think that's an amazing story, though, man. Because it all comes back around.
Yeah.
It all comes back. And the importance of Christ in our life. I always say this, my kids are older now, 20, 24. But there was times when, I'm not saying I was going to wild out, but where I thought about my decisions and how they would affect them. Not only just as my kids, but as God's children. How I act or how I, if I'm not in church or if I'm not praying or reading, and how that affects them, and sometimes that's been a lot of times I should say, that's been my motivation to keep going to church, keep serving God, stay on the straight and narrow, have to wake up and pray, have to, do the things that I need to do to stay close to Christ, because I got 2 kids that are looking at me.
Yeah.
I think now
it changes. It changes the
right?
situation for sure.
It's crazy because we, for a long time you think like, and then you start thinking about them and Christ, and you're like, man, I want them to be close to God. I want them to be involved in church. I want them to.
It literally hit me 2 weeks ago, or about a week and a half ago, and I told her, hey, we're gonna do this, and she's like, she don't like change, so she was like, okay, and I was like, don't trip, we're just gonna go check it out, don't trip, and I'd had a plan already, so she likes it, she likes it.
That's good, man,
and it's cool, man, and it's definitely a balance. It's definitely got to bring a balance to my real job, the photography, my daughter, my wife. It's a balance, and I'm finding that balance right now. I just, setting aside times for, Sunday's church, and then Wednesday, and then Friday for her.
Right.
So it's definitely a balance. It's things are moving fast.
Right.
Things are moving really fast.
How was I wanted to bring this up, but how was the relationship with her and her mother and you? I know a lot of guys a lot of guys that listen to this podcast deal with a lot of baby mama drama, I guess.
I could tell you there's no baby mama drama
That's
whatsoever.
good.
Like,
nice.
Nothing. I think when I went inside, we were split up already. And then when I got out, I divorced her. And it was a long time. It was 7 years. So anything that was in between us just kind of was gone.
Faded away.
So we've never fought since I've been out. There's no fighting. There's nothing. I got my daughter 90% of the time. Her mom has her on the weekends. Her and her mom are very close. They have a good relationship.
Awesome.
She loves her mom. And if I want her a certain weekend, her mom says, yeah. If she wants a certain weekend, yeah. There's nothing there. We're cool.
That's good, man.
There's no fighting.
That's good.
So that's
another blessing.
Another one, because I know that a lot of people have problems like that. And I think somebody asked me today, how do you do it? And I was like, I think what it was is there was so much time in between. There's like no more feelings there.
Right.
So there's no fighting. If there's no feelings involved, you can't fight over something. And it's been so long, it's just, it doesn't happen.
She just wants you to be there for her daughter.
And that's it. And I'm a good dad. I know she's a good mom. And if you leave it like that.
That's good, man.
Yeah, man.
It's
a blessing. I don't know what.
Yeah.
I think every step since I got out has just been better and better and better. Like I haven't gone backwards. Everything's just, I was so used to taking two steps forward and 1 step back. It's been forward. God has just been good, like nonstop, man, nonstop.
I think you've been a great story, man. Been resilient. I think the biggest thing for me with you is the attitude. I think the attitude, and I mean it in a way of, like you said, what control do I have? I just got to keep pushing forward, have the best attitude for life. I mean, a lot of people get out and they're hurt, they're resentful, they're callous to everybody and everything. And I think when you got out, it was a slow process a little bit, getting acclimated back to reality. But I think when you got out, I think it was a good thing, man. I can't say that about everybody. Some people go back, but I think definitely your story helped a lot of people out there that think, I'm busted, or I'm gonna have a felony, and what can I do? I mean, I think those stories need to be told, man.
Yeah, I mean, if I don't tell them, what good use was it? It doesn't do anything for me to keep it. And if it could help anybody out anyway, then I'll share it. I'll share it.
I agree, man. I'm proud of you, bro.
Thanks, man.
I'm really proud of you, man.
Thanks.
I'm glad you found your niche, something you really like. I'm glad you found your wife. I'm definitely happy you're a good father. To me, as a man, that's being a good father and a good husband and a hustler are probably the 3 most important things when I see somebody, and
I agree.
Knowing you all your life, I think things you went through, I think it's amazing, man. And I'm really proud of you, dude.
Thank you.
I appreciate you coming out.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Before I go, me and Young Camel have this thing. It's called the Furious 5.
Orale.
It's 5 questions.
Okay.
You got to answer them.
Cool.
You down?
Yeah, of course.
Right. Quick, short answers. If Veterano James can go back and tell youngster James anything, what would he tell him?
Don't hit the pookie.
Don't hit the pookie. What does that mean? The pipe?
The pipe.
Don't hit the pipe.
Yep.
Okay, I don't know what you meant by that, but at first, okay, now I got you. Don't hit the pipe. You think your life would have been really a lot different
Yeah.
if you never hit the pipe?
Yeah, it would have been different.
All right.
I think I would have found my way back here. But I just went around detour.
If you never got busted, you never had a felony, you didn't find photography, what would James be?
I was studying for my real estate license. I was going to sell houses.
Really?
Right before I went in, I had a date and everything already.
Dang.
Done. Got out. Got a felony now. Done.
Now you're just taking pictures for houses.
Yeah. Happens.
Favorite musical group?
I can't say group, but I can say a genre. Reggae.
Reggae.
Yep. All day.
Favorite reggae artist?
Bob Marley.
Can't beat that.
Can't.
I mean, come on. It's a legend.
OG.
If you would have shot Bob Marley, imagine.
Match.
Well, not actually shot. But
No,
I mean,
of course.
shot the sheriff, but not the deputy. All right. Big Game James. What we on, number 4?
You got 4.
Yep.
Most important role you play in your life?
The most important role I play in my life.
Yep.
Being a dad. Most
That's
important
it,
right
huh?
now. Being a dad.
It's the most important role. Last one. What's the last one, Cam? If you could shoot anybody, dead or alive, who would you shoot?
Wow.
Dead or alive, one person. All day, 8-hour photo shoot, any place, anybody.
Wow. Never thought of that.
What a great question for a photographer. One person,
One person.
dead or alive.
Marilyn Monroe.
Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
Where at?
Los Angeles.
You got a spot right now?
Yep.
Where? Oh, you don't want to give it up, so everybody
Nope.
was going there.
Competition, remember? Competition.
Everybody would go there.
Man. Everybody.
I picture you shooting Marilyn Monroe. She's probably wearing a tank top,
Dickies.
some Dickies, right?
You know what I mean?
Chola'd out,
Cortez.
right?
That's how it goes.
Man,
Change it up.
She doesn't have to have a Chola nickname,
Someone's looking her up right now saying, hey, I'm going to shoot this chick.
right?
For sure.
Hey, man, I appreciate you coming out.
Hey, I
brother.
appreciate you guys having me, man. It's been fun. Thank you, guys.
Hey, anything you want to shout out before we go?
I want to shout out my homeboy, nephew Nick from the barbershop in Whittier.
Hey, I know that dude.
He's been a big inspiration in my life since I've been out.
Nice.
Carlos Macias, that fool's my road dog. That fool, anything I want to do, he's with it.
You got it.
Yep.
That's it, huh?
Loaves and Servants. That's my ace right there.
There you go.
Man, can't stop.
All right. Hey, appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you guys having me out, man. I love you guys.
Love you too, man. Proud of you, man.
Thank you.
Yo, that's going to conclude this episode with Big Game James, otherwise known, a.k.a. as Billy the Kid. Check him out on his Instagram. Hit him up. Don't DM him unless you're going to hire him, okay? That's the rule. We appreciate you guys listening to us. Be sure to check out all our podcasts on any major podcast platform. Also, check us out on Street Gospel TV. Appreciate you.
Peace.